Imagine a bustling city where a crowd gathers to watch a daring performance. A tightrope stretches high above, connecting two buildings. The air is filled with anticipation as the tightrope walker steps onto the rope, balancing only with a long pole in his hands. The tightrope walker isn't flashy. There are no sparkly costumes or dramatic fanfare. Instead, there's a quiet confidence in his movements. Every step is deliberate. Every shift of weight is calculated. Below him, the crowd holds its collective breath, marveling at his balance and his poise. But what the audience doesn't see is the story behind those steps. They don't see the years of practice, the countless falls, or the quiet hours spent rebuilding his trust in himself after every misstep. They don't see the moments of doubt where he questioned if he would ever tightrope walk again. Yet, here he is, walking with a calm certainty that seems unshakable. Every step isn't just about crossing the rope, but it's about proving to himself that he can. Confidence, like walking a tightrope, isn't something that you're just born with. It's something that you build step by step with every choice, with every action, and every moment that you decide to trust yourself even when the stakes seem high. Now think about your own life. What if you could walk through your challenges and opportunities with the same steady confidence? What if you could trust yourself to take the next step even when the path feels uncertain? That's what we're exploring today. The best way to boost your confidence and create a life where you can trust yourself no matter how high the rope may seem. Confidence is the magnetic quality that empowers us to face challenges, to seize opportunities, and live unapologetically as ourselves. Let's start by defining confidence. Confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. It can be referred to as a firm trust, a solid trust. It's the belief in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. It's not about arrogance or pretending that you have it all figured out. It's about self-assurance, a calm understanding that you are capable, resilient, and resourceful. True confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout to be heard. It's steady and quiet. Like the foundation of a house, it's unseen, but crucial to everything that stands on it. A trust that you cultivate through action, discipline, and self-respect. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, self-trust is the first secret of success. This quote speaks to the heart of what confidence is. A belief in yourself that acts as the foundation for all achievements. Without self-trust, even the best opportunities can feel out of reach. But when you trust yourself, you give yourself permission to take bold action. But we have to remember that confidence doesn't come from empty words or wishful thinking. You can't just tell yourself, I'm confident, and expect it to magically appear. True confidence is inside out. It comes from aligning your actions with your values, keeping promises to yourself, and proving to yourself that you are someone worthy of being trusted. So how do you do that? The very first way is to keep promises to yourself. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you made a commitment to yourself, starting a habit, pursuing a goal, making some sort of positive change, only to abandon it halfway through, or maybe even to never start it in the first place? It's very easy to push these broken promises aside because often they're promises that you have just made to yourself. No one else is involved. But here's the truth. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken the trust you have in your own abilities. Trust, once eroded, becomes a shaky foundation for confidence, for motivation, and ultimately for growth. And without confidence, taking meaningful steps towards your goals seem impossible. This is the importance of starting small. Instead of overwhelming yourself with grand ambitions, You know, the ambitions that demand perfection. Focus on tiny, achievable promises, small actions that fit seemingly into your daily life. For example, if you tell yourself, I'll drink 1 extra glass of water a day, honor it. If you tell yourself, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk a day, no matter how busy you feel, put on your shoes and start walking. These actions, they might seem trivial in isolation, but they spill over into other areas of your life. Every small promise kept to yourself is proof that you are someone who honors commitment. Think of it this way. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you're laying down a brick in the foundation of your self-trust. A house is not built in a day, nor is it built with just 1 brick. But brick by brick, action by action, you construct something strong, steady, and reliable. Over time, as you reinforce this foundation, you're going to notice a shift in your mindset. You're going to notice that bigger goals no longer intimidate you. And what's funny is it's not because the goal has become any easier, but it's because you've developed the confidence that comes from knowing that no matter what it is, I am going to follow through. So start small, start today. Every promise you keep is an act of self-respect, a step toward building a stronger, more confident you. And as you build that trust, you'll realize that keeping promises to yourself is not just a habit, it's the cornerstone of personal growth. Number 2, face your fears. Fear has a sneaky way of holding us back. It shows up as doubts. It shows up in a whisper. What if it goes wrong? What if I'm not good enough? It shows up in a whisper and convinces us to stay comfortable and play it safe. But here's a truth that can transform your mindset. Confidence isn't built by avoiding fear, it's built by facing it head on. Think of fear as a boundary line, a barrier that separates your current self from the version of you capable of achieving growth, success, and fulfillment. Everything you want exists on the other side of that line. The more you challenge fear, the more you push that boundary outward. There's more space on the winning side. Your comfort zone begins to expand, as well as the possibilities in your life. Nelson Mandela captured this perfectly when he said, I learned that courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Fear itself is weak. You'll be surprised at how weak that fear is if you would just confront it head on. Courage doesn't mean that you're fearless. It means you take action despite the whispers of doubt in your ear. And every time you do, you're teaching yourself a powerful lesson. I can handle this. Facing your fears doesn't mean you climb Mount Everest tomorrow. Doesn't mean you give a TED Talk next week. It might begin with something as simple as speaking up in a meeting, initiating a difficult conversation, trying a new skill, or saying yes to an opportunity that scares you. Each small act of courage strengthens your mental and emotional resilience. Courage is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And as you consistently challenge your fears, you'll notice something extraordinary. The whispers of fear won't disappear, but it will lose its grip on you. You'll grow more confident, not because life got any easier, but because you're getting stronger. You'll trust yourself to navigate the unknown and to tackle challenges head on. Because you know that, hey, if I've done it before, I can do it again. So don't wait for fear to vanish before you act. Push the boundary line back. Put fear back in its place. And you do so by taking small, deliberate action towards the things that scare you. Each time you do, you're not just expanding your comfort zone, you're redefining what's possible in your life. Number 3, build competence. Confidence and competence are deeply intertwined. They're two sides of the same coin. Confidence without competence can feel hollow, while competence itself naturally breeds confidence. Simply put, you will never feel confident in an area that you've never taken the time to practice and to learn. The more you develop your skills, the more grounded and authentic your confidence becomes. Start by identifying an area in your life that you want to grow. Maybe it's a professional skill like public speaking, or perhaps it's something personal like learning to cook, to play a musical instrument, or to improve your fitness. Whatever it is, make a commitment to practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes confident. It's easy to feel intimidated when starting something new. But remember, every expert once started as a beginner. Progress might feel slow at first and even frustrating, but don't overlook the power of the small win. Did you make it through a presentation without losing your train of thought? Did you finally manage to play a song on the guitar without fumbling the chords? These small victories are stepping stones that not only build your competence, but also your belief in your ability to improve. As you develop your skills, you'll start to notice a shift in your approach to challenge. Competence reminds us that confidence doesn't come from being perfect, it comes from growth. You don't need to be the best or to know everything to feel confident. You just have to know that you're improving. The process of skill building helps quiet self-doubt and hesitation that might have at one point held you back. When you know that you've put in the work and you know your abilities, there's less room for second guessing. And you approach situations not with fear, but with a sense of readiness. So choose an area to focus on and dive in. Dedicate yourself to learning, to practicing, and growing. Along the way, remember progress, not perfection, is the goal. Number 4, speak to yourself with respect. We've all heard the phrase, you are your worst critic. While self-criticism can sometimes motivate you towards improvement, more often than not, it sabotages your confidence. Have you ever stopped to truly consider how the way you speak to yourself influences the way you feel about yourself? Your inner dialogue has immense power. It can either lift you up or tear you down. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This simple truth highlights the influence of self-belief. If your inner voice is full of doubt, fear, and negativity, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You unconsciously act in ways that align with those limiting beliefs. On the other hand, when you choose to speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and optimism, you create a fertile ground for confidence to grow. Think about how you speak to others, especially those that you care about. Would you tell a friend, you're terrible at this? Listen, I just want to let you know, you'll never succeed. Of course not. You'd likely encourage them and remind them of what you see in them. Remind them of their strengths, all the while inspiring them to keep trying. Be a friend to yourself. Why would you deserve any less than the same kindness and encouragement that you would offer others? The truth is, the way you speak to yourself shapes your perception of who you are and what you are capable of. Harsh self-talk chips away at your self-worth, while respectful, empowering language builds it up. So how can you change your internal dialogue? Start by noticing it. Pay attention to those critical thoughts that creep in. You're not smart enough. You'll never figure this out. You always mess things up. Challenge those thoughts by asking yourself, okay, is this really true? What evidence do I have to support this? Then reframe them. Replace the thought of I'll never be good at this with I'm learning and improving every day. Replace I'm so bad at this with I'm getting better with each attempt. Small intentional shifts in language, they seem insignificant at first, but over time, they completely transform your mindset. Speaking to yourself with respect and positivity rewires your brain to see possibility instead of limitation. Number 5, celebrate your wins. When was the last time you truly celebrated yourself? Not for something extraordinary, but for the everyday efforts and small victories that are propelling you forward. Confidence doesn't only grow from success itself, it grows from recognizing that success. Every milestone you reach, no matter how small, deserves that acknowledgement. And the reason why is because those moments are the building blocks of progress, the proof of your persistence, and the evidence of your capability. Did you step outside your comfort zone today, even a little bit? Let's celebrate. Did you complete a task you've been putting off for days? Let's celebrate. Together, these small wins tell a powerful story. They tell the story that you are someone that shows up, takes action, and makes progress. Number 6, surround yourself with support. The people in your life have a profound impact on your self-belief. Their words, their attitudes, their behaviors are like the soil in which your self-esteem grows. If the soil is toxic, full of negativity, full of criticism, full of doubt, it's nearly impossible for your confidence to grow. It's like trying to grow a garden during a relentless storm. It's raining, there's heavy winds, patio furniture is flying all over the place, and you still trying to get this seed into the ground. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with positivity and encouragement, you create the perfect environment for confidence to flourish. Take a moment to evaluate your relationships. Who should you count in and who should you count out? Who uplifts you? Who challenges you in a way that helps you to grow rather than tearing you down? It's not about surrounding yourself with yes people. It's not about surrounding yourself with people that will never tell you the truth, but there's a significant difference between criticism that inspires improvement and criticism that undermines your self-worth. Seek out the relationships that inspire you to rise to your potential. These are the people that cheer you on, that remind you of your strengths, and encourage you to push past all fear. They're the ones that see the possibilities in you that you can't even really see in yourself. The more you surround yourself with this support, the more your confidence will naturally expand because you'll be in an environment that nurtures it. Another thought is that it's not just about the people in your life. It's about the content you consume, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the social media accounts you follow. All play a role in shaping your mindset. Are you consuming content that fuels your growth journey, inspires new perspectives, encourages self-belief? Or are you consuming content that reinforces doubt, that forces you to compare, that clouds your mind with negativity? Be intentional with your choices. Read books that challenge and uplift you. Listen to podcasts or watch videos that inspire you and that challenge your perspectives. Follow individuals that promote growth as opposed to the accounts that make you feel less than. These small but intentional changes in your consumption have a powerful effect on your confidence. Number 7, live in alignment with your values. Living a life out of sync with your values is like walking through life with a pebble in your shoe. First, it feels like a minor inconvenience, but over time, that small discomfort grows into a persistent reminder that something isn't right. It creates inner conflict that erodes your sense of self and fosters self-doubt. Confidence, on the other hand, is born from a place of alignment, when your action, choices, and beliefs are in harmony. Take a moment to reflect. What truly matters to you? Your values are the compass, guiding your decisions and defining your purpose. They're the principles you hold dear, the qualities you admire, and the ideals that you strive to uphold. Yet, it's easy to lose sight of them in the noise of everyday life. Pressures from work, family, societal expectations, or even the need to please others can pull you in different directions that do not feel authentic. And I want you to remember this. Living out of alignment with your values always comes at a cost. It creates a disconnect between who you are and who you're trying to be. It leads to feelings of inadequacy or even imposter syndrome. And the main issue here is that confidence cannot thrive in that gap. The first step to realigning your values is clarity. Ask yourself, what are the core principles that I want to embody? What do I believe defines a meaningful, fulfilling life? What kind of person do I aspire to be? Once you identified your values, take an honest look at your life. Are your daily actions, choices, and habits a reflection of those values? If, for example, kindness is something that you value, are you treating others and yourself with compassion? Or let's say growth is something you value. How much time are you taking to learn and improve? When your life aligns with your values, you create a powerful sense of integrity. And this integrity becomes a foundation for your confidence because you're no longer questioning who you are and what you stand for. Living in integrity with your values doesn't mean that every decision will be easy. It doesn't mean that you won't face challenges. In fact, living in alignment often requires courage, saying no to the things that don't serve you, setting boundaries, or making tough decisions that others don't understand. But the reward itself is worth it. A life that truly feels genuine. And as you begin to live more authentically, you'll notice a shift. You'll start to carry yourself different, not with arrogance, but with a quiet confidence, a knowing that you are being true to you. Confidence isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's something that we can cultivate. Remember, the key is to live a life where you can trust you, a life where you keep your promises, a life where you face your fears, a life where you build skills and speak kindly to yourself, a life where you celebrate wins and surround yourself with support, all the while living in alignment with your values. Confidence, like growth, isn't a destination, it's a journey. And every step you take is progress. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one small promise to keep, one fear to face, or one skill to develop. Prove to yourself that you are trustworthy, that you are capable, and that you are resilient. Because as you do, you'll discover that confidence isn't just a feeling. It's a reflection of the life that you're building. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a confidence boost. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.